Kiwis are out to complete a clean sweep against Great Britain for the first time since Fred Arcoy and his New Zealand team achieved a 3-0 series win over the Lions in 1984.
Shane Barley flicks it on. Olsen, Filipina gets the pass away. Fred Arcoy is there. Great try.
Hi guys, congratulations on winning 2-0 so far. One more, make it 3-zip. On behalf of 1984 Kiwis, we wish you well for tonight. Make sure you come home with the bacon 3-0.
It's the third and final test. New Zealand and Great Britain on 2 Sports action. The Kiwis had plenty to celebrate last Friday night in Palmerston North, clinching their first series win over the Lions in 12 years. Here's a chance for New Zealand. Ruben Wiki got away from Spruce. Goulding is back there. He can't control Wiki, and Ruben Wiki has got a double. But there's still some unfinished business for the New Zealanders. Another win tonight will cap off a great series. The Lions plan to spoil the party. Without a win on tour, they have everything to play for. Great Britain pride is on the line. Bradlinski gets it back to Sullivan. They keep it alive. Stu Spruce is up front. Fullback ducked underneath Spruce. Got it out defence. There's the try. It's Great Britain and New Zealand on 2 Sports action. Our international series has moved to Christchurch in the famous Lancaster Park. Blue skies overhead. The couple of days of cold and murky weather has disappeared, and I can tell you this crowd is looking forward to another classic encounter here. The 2 matches so far have been close affairs. Will it be another one tonight? Good evening, everyone. It's great to have you with us on 2 Sports action. Brent Todd, you said you'd turn on some fine weather in your hometown of Christchurch. You just made it.
Well, there's not many things you can guarantee in life, but I can guarantee you Christchurch will always have clear blue skies like this, and I think it's going to be a great night, and I guarantee it won't rain.
And can you guarantee a Kiwi clean sweep?
Well, I think I can. It looks very good for the New Zealand side, although Great Britain really may give their one last-ditch effort. I mean, they don't want to go home. It's going to be a bit of a disgrace not winning one game in New Zealand, so I'm sure that they'll go out there fired up. But if New Zealand can maybe score early and really give it to the Great Britain side, then I'm sure they'll buckle, and New Zealand should go on with a big win and a clean sweep.
Okay, also joining us on the 2 Sports action team tonight is Warriors coach John Mooney. John, the Lions haven't been too far off the pace in the 2 previous tests. Can you see them pulling something extra special out of the bag tonight?
Thanks, Greg. It'll be a soft option for the Great Britain side to say that it's been a long, hard tour, a difficult tour, and now a little fatigue, some injuries settling in, but they don't need a good performance tonight. They don't need a great performance. They need a superior performance from everybody in their team, and their backs are really up against the wall. It's going to be a good game.
Yes, let's look forward to that one on TV2 over the next hour or so. And also, Brent Todd, let's have a look at this record. And Great Britain have dominated the Kiwis over the years since 1907, when the All-Goals first toured. 91 test matches have been played. Great Britain have won 57. New Zealand have won 31. And they have drawn just 3 of those. Some changes in the lineups, and in particular the Great Britain back line. Let's have a look at how the 2 teams compare. Barry John Mather comes in on the wing for Anthony Sullivan. Carl Hammond has been promoted to the starting 13 at 5'8" ahead of Ieston Harris. But really, Brent Todd, with Mark Ellis in the starting 13 for the first time, I think the New Zealand backs will dominate again.
Well, the whole New Zealand team should dominate, especially in the forwards. The forwards, they've stuck with the same forward pack, and up front, Quinton Ponga and also Grant Young, they seem to be going forward. And as every good coach and halfback will tell you, you've got to go forward before the ball can go wide.
Well, there have been some pretty good performances by many of the Kiwis in the 4 internationals so far this series, but 3 players have dominated our CRC Men of the Match awards. Front rower Grant Young, the new Warriors signing, has made the step up to international football with ease. On attack, he has a good work rate, taking the ball up and meeting tacklers head on, and he's rocked the opposition regularly while defending. Look for him to lead the charge up front. Centre John Timu has been rock solid in the midfield, making the most of his opportunities. His 2-try performance in the first test was the big difference between the 2 sides, and he looks set to become a regular in the Kiwi number 4 jersey. Just 21 years old, halfback Stacey Jones is playing with as much authority and maturity as his more seasoned rival Bobby Goulding. In only his second year on the international scene, Jones has signalled his intention to be around for a long time in the number 7 jersey. The latest on a long list of fine Kiwi halfbacks over the years. If we had to pick the Great Britain player of the series so far, it would be another Warrior. Second rower Dennis Betts is about to equal Cliff Watson's record as the most capped Great Britain forward in history. He's lining up in his 30th Test match for the Lions and is averaging a try a match in this series. While he's been inconsistent at the Warriors, he's proven in recent weeks that he's a big match player. Look for him to rise to the occasion again tonight. Yes, the Lions can think themselves lucky that they've got Dennis Betts in the form. What about the Kiwi talking points, though, Brent? What have they got to do to make the clean sweep?
Well, I think the Kiwis need a good start. They've got to try and score early, and if they do that, they'll break the Lions' hearts and probably go on with a big score. Also, they've got to dominate in the forwards. The forwards must go forward and give the backs plenty of room. Now, last 10, first 10, I think the last 10 minutes of half-time and the first 10 minutes after half-time are the most important times in a game. Now, Great Britain have scored in the last 10 minutes just before half-time and gone in at half-time very confident, so New Zealand are going to have to watch that. And also a clean sweep. We all hope it's going to be a clean sweep. I think it will be, and it'll be a great feeling to be on that side and have won 3-0 against the Great Britain side.
Well, let's get an opinion from our sideline team tonight. First of all, here's Brendan Telfer.
Well, Greg, down here on the touchline, we're wondering just how fired up this Kiwi Rugby League team can be, given the fact that they are up 2-0 in this 3-match Test series. And remember what happened to the All Blacks in exactly the same situation a couple of months ago. Well, I've just spoken to Frank Endicott a couple of minutes before they went into the dressing room. He's adamant there isn't a trace of complacency in this Kiwi team. And Dwayne, I get the impression he's not looking for a 1 or a 2 point win here. He wants to win by 20 points tonight. Is the side good enough to thump the Lions?
Well, good evening. And while taking nothing away from their first 2 victories, the Kiwis will look to get a great start here, possibly in the first 15 to 20 minutes. And Brendan, they can do that by offloading the ball. Their running game, win in order. If they can promote it several times between the forwards and backs, they could go all the way.
Making Matthew Ridge captain was the best thing coach Frank Endicott has done. Not only is the ace goal kicker now the most prolific point scorer in Kiwi Test history, he's also an inspirational leader. He stands his ground, and on attack, he gives the back line that extra spark. Ridge looks to be in his prime. Long may it continue. Yes, Matthew Ridge, can he lead the Kiwis to a clean sweep tonight? We'll take a break now on 2 Sports Action, then we'll come back for the teams to make their entrance out onto Lancaster Park. But first of all, a tribute to the junior Kiwis. They have clinched a clean sweep, beating Papua New Guinea in their 2-test series, and they completed a clean sweep against the Young Lions tonight, but it was tough, 37-36, and they led by 37-18 at one stage, so they got there, but only just. But they were in fine form. We'll have a look at the junior Kiwis in scoring action here at Lancaster Park. And then we will be back with the senior Kiwis and the senior Lions in the 3rd and final test on 2 Sports Action.
Now back to G Group in syncopated style.
TV2 at Lancaster Park in Christchurch, and Andy Farrell, who passed a fitness test only minutes ago, leads the Lions out onto this famous ground. Perfect conditions here. They've been called the walking wounded this week, but they've still managed to come up with a pretty good starting 13, looking for their first win on the New Zealand tour. They've had the lead at half-time in the 2 previous test matches, but they've failed to go on with it. Will it be a different story tonight for Great Britain? It's Spruce, Hunt, Radlinski, Powell, Mather, Hammond, Goulding, and in the pack it's Broadbent, Cunningham, O'Connor, Betts, Sculthorpe, and Farrell is the captain. The coach is Phil Larder. So a reasonable crowd building up here for the conclusion of this international test series. Dennis Betts. Tonight he equals Cliff Watson as the most capped Great Britain forward. The Kiwis. Oh, they know what's required. They know a clean sweep is there for the taking. Stephen Kearney's been in fine form. Matthew Ridge leads them out, unbeaten in 4 tests this year. Looking to finish how they started. They kicked off 96 with a win at the World Nines in Fiji. Ridge, Hoppy, Wiki, Timu, Alice for the first time in the starting 13, Namu and Jones. Grant Young, Sideru, Quentin Pongia. The front row's been in great form. So is the back three, Iro, Kearney and Smith. The coach is Frank Endicott. Frank, since 1984, now has 10 wins, 4 losses and 1 draw from his 15 tests. All 4 losses were to Australia. That was last year. And, of course, the next test they play after this one will probably be against Australia. So no doubt they'll have that in the back of their mind.
God save our gracious Queen, long live our noble Queen. God save the Queen. Send her victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign over us. God save the Queen. God of nations, at thy feet, in the bonds of love we meet. Hear our voices, we entreat. God defend our free land. God Pacific's triple star, from the shaft of strife and war, make her praises heard afar. God defend New Zealand.
What a great moment for Alice Griffiths, the deputy head girl at Aranui High here in Christchurch. Now the challenge is about to be issued again by the Kiwis. Stephen Kearney will lead the haka. The referee today, making his first appearance in this international series, is from Australia. Stephen Clark from Australia. We're underway. The first rugby league international to be played at Lancaster Park since 1920. On that occasion, the Lions won by 19-3. Can they salvage something from their tour? First touch of the ball for the Lions. Expect plenty of fireworks up front again. Terry O'Connor from the Wigan club plays it.
Yes, I see he's wearing white boots out there. That's a little bit leery for a front rower. But still, let's hope he can perform and have a big game. He'd want it with white ones.
Darryl Powell, the most capped player in this Lions lineup, his 31st test tonight. The sloppy pass there, going back to Dennis Betts. What a night for Betts. 30th test. Equals Cliffy Watson's record. As the most capped Great Britain forward.
Already we can see the New Zealand side going with plenty of vigour in their tackling. Just trying to show the Great Britain side that they mean business early on here.
Now it's over to Mark Ellis. First touch of the ball for the crowd favourite. Sideru waits for it at dummy half. About 12 from halfway. Here's Grant Young, who's had such a fine series. Namu at dummy half. Now it's Pongia. Pongia has waited for a long time for this moment to play a test in front of his adopted home crowd in Christchurch.
And once again we see Great Britain moving off the mark very early on and really putting on lots of pace, but a good penalty here to New Zealand.
Well, here's the first penalty of the match, and it goes to the New Zealanders on the 10-metre mark, so they'll kick for touch. Let's have a look at it on the CRC replay.
Yeah, Steve Kearney looking to get up and play the ball now. Dennis Betts goes in with a little bit of a swinging arm. That's what the penalty's for.
Well, real opportunity here for New Zealand. It's Kearney. He finds Namu. Smith straightens it up, makes it to the 20-metre mark. Centre field, right in front of the uprights. Iro ranging wide, as he's done all series. Inside it goes now to Namu. Namu can't find a hole through there. Good tackle by Betts around the legs. Over the top it was Broadbent. Ridge up from fullback. Pongia hops it out the back door to Eru. Still 3 tackles remaining in this set. Still opportunities for New Zealand to get the first points on the board. Iro again linking up over on the far side with his centre John Timu. He's 10 metres out. The Lions defence holding. Eru. Now it's Kearney. Kearney takes them on right in front of the uprights again. Now it's a final tackle on the way. Jones. Namu kicked it into the legs of Hemmond. Play on. Still the final tackle, the bomb by Jones. Alan Hunt waits for it, and Smith had it almost in his hands, but it went forward. Well, a bit of a missed opportunity there. A try could have been on, but the Lions survived.
Yes, once again, we're seeing great defence here from Great Britain. And John, if New Zealand score early, they're in with a big show. But once again, the defence from the Great Britain side is very strong on their own line.
Yeah, it was great. The New Zealand side just got 2 lots of sixes, and they were in that red zone for the last 6 tackles, and they still couldn't get across the line. So it was a good start for Great Britain defensively.
Now it's Terry O'Connor almost in front of Dwayne Mann, who's sidelined. What about conditions, Dwayne? Pretty well perfect, I'd say.
A very great day down here. The wind not too much into this game, but I believe Great Britain do need to change their tactics a bit. We've seen Bobby Goulding kick throughout this series. I think the Kiwis by now must be aware to it. I believe Great Britain have to look to run the ball at every opportunity.
Well, New Zealand have the ball. It was Sculthorpe who coughed it up. So the Kiwis through Iro push it wide. Namu. He's taken by Radlinski. 30 out from the New Zealand line. It is 0-all. Wiki from dummy half. He scored a double last week in a fine performance. Has his right knee heavily strapped. Young. He puts it down. Hammond. Taken by Young. I guess if you drop the ball, the next best thing you can do is tackle the opponent.
Well, they're certainly swarming in on Grant Young as he takes the ball up there. They know how dangerous he is and how Great Britain are trying to stop the go forward, but it's all been undone, that tackle by a penalty, and this puts Great Britain in a great attacking position.
Yeah, one thing the English sides have always been good at is nice little set pieces when they get inside this 20 metres, so we'll look here to see what they put on.
Well, an opportunity now for the Lions. They weathered the storm at the other end of the park. What can they do here on attack? Here's Darryl Powell almost through the gap. Still on the 20-metre mark, though. Cunningham waits for it at dummy half. Looking for runners. He finds Broadbent, the front rower. He's on the 10-metre mark, almost in front of the uprights. They work it to the blind, and Farrell picks up Sculthorpe out to Betts, who's been so dangerous wide of the ruck. Sculthorpe from dummy half getting very close to the line. He's taken by Jones and also Ellis. Final tackle. Dennis Betts is trying to catch them napping down the blind side. He thinks he's scored. The referee says he's scored. What a try. What an opening by Dennis Betts and the Great Britain Lions. They lead by 4 points to 0, and Betts has now scored in every test match in this series.
Yes, he's having a while of a series, isn't he, Dennis Betts, but that all come from a quick play of the ball there. And the good thing about Dennis, as we see on the CRC replay, he got into dummy half. He had the option of spinning wide, but he got great vision from dummy half there. He saw a gap, backed himself, took on 2 players, and goes in for a great try to Great Britain.
Yeah, Mark Ellis just getting caught. He's not out on his wing position. John Toomey arriving too late, but great work from Dennis Betts.
On the CRC replay, he caught them napping, got it down. It was a fair try.
Yes, and
that's the start they wanted.
Paul Sculthorpe too got a great play of the ball in there, and that's what they need. You need those quick play of the balls to get that roll on.
So Betts, his 3rd try this series, and Bobby Goulding looking to add the extras from about a half a metre in from the far touch. Not a bad attempt. Will it have the legs? Yes, it's stuck over. So it is the Great Britain Lions leading by 6 points to 0. A converted try to the Lions. That's a perfect start, John Moning.
Yeah, it does, and it really it's a little bit like the other two tests. They've got away to a flyer in each test, and they've made the New Zealand side play catch-up football. They've chased scores all through the series, and here they are again. They're off to a 6-0 lead.
This is Tyron Smith, and doesn't that bring a smile to John's face when he sees one of his Warriors players score, especially Dennis Betts? Gee. Well, it's about time John Mooney smiles at Lancaster Park. The Warriors have been beaten twice here this year, John, so I hope you don't bring your jinx with you this time.
No, it's a ground I still have nightmares about.
Well, I hope he does, because he's supporting Great Britain, so it doesn't matter.
He's a token Kiwi through and through, John Mooney. 5 from halfway. It is the New Zealanders looking for a reply. Tony Iro, the short pass to Stacey Jones. The foot on the gas. Jones calling his players on the inside. He finds Hoppy. Hoppy is taken by Goulding, who did well to get back there and cover. Now it's Ridge at dummy half to Kearney. Long pass to Namu. There's another long pass out to Smith. They keep it alive. It's Timu showing it in both hands. John Timu backs himself. There is the reply. Timu for New Zealand. Showed great evasive skills, showed good balance, and he got there. So it's 6 points to 4 now. Kick to come.
Yes, great work there from John Timu. Out wide, the Kiwis on the CRC replay shows they spread Great Britain from one side to the other. Now, Stacey Jones is very effective when he runs with the ball. He's got so much pace, always looking for options too. Just couldn't carry on with this movement, but Stacey there, when he backs up the big players, is always going to cause problems. Good work from Sean Hoppy keeping in. Now the ball goes from one side to the other. Now Great Britain just could not regather their defence. Out wide, they were found wanting. And John Timu, when he gets hold of that ball, he's so evasive when he gets hold of it. Tyron Smith out wide too, caught there. But just watch the work that John Timu had to do to get this try. He's very quick on his feet, and that's a good reply from New Zealand.
Yeah, Namu, lovely space, throwing the ball wide. But, you know, as the ball comes along the hands, the players on the inside stay off John Timu. They think Widlitsky's got him. The hook at Cunningham and BJ Mather to come across too late. The cover just not getting there in time.
And Matthew Ridge with the conversion attempt. He doesn't miss them from there, so it's locked up. New Zealand 6, Great Britain 6. So both sides here at Lancaster Park have really shown their hand. They're about to throw this ball around. It was a bad miss by Radlinski on Timu. He'll have to pick up his defence tonight, but it is the Lions 20 metres out from their own line now.
Isn't it great, exciting football? I know the English side, John, you praise them a fair bit because they are prepared to throw the ball around, aren't they?
Yeah, they're good with the ball in their hands, and one thing on this tour, defensively they've been pretty good as well. So, you know, they do lack a couple of class players in the back line that they left at home, but, you know, they've put up great performances in the other two tests, and this looks like being a good game as well.
O'Connor did well. He was struggling to get to his feet. That's the best way to milk a penalty.
Greg, the first change for the Kiwis, Joe Vagana on for Grant Young, giving him a rest.
Okay, and here we see that penalty again. Stephen Kearney penalised for holding down. So now it is the Lions, 31 metres out from the New Zealand line. Broadbent. And his fifth test, the 28-year-old from Sheffield. Hammond to Farrell. He loses it, and that was big defence by Quentin Pongia. Pongia drove in and forced the ball.
Also Joe Vagana there. You just watch him come over top. Let's have a look on the CRC replay. There's Pongia, and there goes Vagana. Well,
it was like a flying juggernaut, Big Joe. 10 from halfway. Eru waits for the dummy half. Here's Vagana on attack now.
The big thing about Big Joe is you see Matthew Ridge down and back play with maybe a knee to the back. Joe Vagana, when he takes the ball up, he always takes 2 and 3 defenders with him, so there's got to be gaps out wide.
Yeah, and in defence, as you've already said, Joe Vagana and Grant Young, they need a red circle on their jumpers with a no-go zone on it. They certainly wipe people out.
So from the kick, it is
The Lions trying to run it out of their own red zone, and that's Alan Hunt. Territory being dominated only just by New Zealand, 52%. If you turn that into possession, New Zealand 51%, so not much in it, and it is reflected on the scoreboard. 6 apiece here as Farrell tries to get on the outside of Ellis. He can't do so. Now it's Goulding. Hammond to Radlinski. Double round with Hammond. Still inside their own half. To the blind side. Up over halfway now goes Broadbent. He looked to pass, couldn't get it away.
And that's a good place to run too, in behind the markers there, because 9 times out of 10 there is a gap. Sometimes the defence doesn't set up there and behind the markers, and if the markers don't chase, you can make good yardage.
Hoppy. Taken by his... No, he got away from his Warriors teammate Betts. It was Powell that did the tackling, along with Sculthorpe. Now it's Stacey Jones.
I think one of the reasons why we do think that the Great Britain side they do play exciting rugby league is because they don't play to the Sydney rules or the Australian rules. New Zealand teams now and Australian teams, you know, they use the big guys to get forward 1, 2 and 3 tackles, and then they'll spread the ball wide. The English, coming out of that competition that they play in, they, as I said, don't play to the rules. They throw the ball, they'll move it wide early before the big guys get going forward, and they do take a lot of chances.
Well, now it is New Zealand through Kearney. 9 metres inside the Lions territory. Final tackle coming up. Bridges a dummy half, so he'll look for a kicker. And he'll find Stacey Jones, who keeps it low. And back there is Spruce, one of the many Great Britain players under an injury cloud this week. He had an ingrown toenail that's been treated every day. Radlinski waits for a dummy half.
Because they must be sore an ingrown toenail.
Well, the front row wouldn't know that you had a toenail. You probably couldn't see your toes.
I'm still trying to find me hamstrings.
I think he's also had a really bad tear to one of his ears, and I believe he needs some plastic surgery when he goes back to Williams. So he's got a very bad cut on his head. I can't see an ingrown toenail keeping a player out of a test match.
Have a look here on the...
Have you tried walking with one?
CRC replay. Bit of a high shot. Yeah, that's probably got something to do with the headband. He's got a bit of tape around his ear. So great courage showed from Stuart Spruce going out there.
9 metres inside New Zealand territory.
I think it's the case if he has to, because all the other players have gone home. They've got no one left.
Cunningham pops it out the back door. It's dived upon by Terry O'Connor. Tackles made. Great Britain have had to make 58 compared to New Zealand's 50 as they push it wide, and Farrell, he looks to be okay for someone that was in extreme doubt leading up to the kickoff. Sculthorpe, the kick and chase, and nobody home. Ridges going to have to rush back, and so too is Ellis. And Ellis was tackled in goal, according to the referee, Stephen Clark. Well, that wasn't a bad option. Good vision by Sculthorpe on that occasion, because nobody was home at the back for New Zealand.
Yes, flirting with the sideline a little bit, but Mark Ellis there cleaned up well. Bit of pressure on him too, though, coming down and really can't do much step full on it. Good stuff from Mark.
So it'll be a goalmouth dropout. 6 apiece. 15.5 minutes gone in the third test.
Well, again, the Kiwis are looking vulnerable at marker, and if Great Britain can give their dummy half some good service, Kieran Cunningham is a dangerous player, and once he gets running, he's a player who can spark a bit of variety when the Great Britain side do decide to run.
So another set of 6 for the Lions here, 30 metres out from the line. Cunningham wait for a dummy half. To the blind they go, and Farrell showing the dummy. Taken by Ellis, good run by the captain. Hunted dummy half. Now it's Goulding, the double round with Hammond. He links up out wide with Powell. They're putting it through the hands back to Spruce. Bounced out of one. Can't get away from Kearney, but he got the pass back to Hammond. Carl Hammond. 18 metres out from the line. Powell now to Goulding. Cross to Sculthorpe from one side of the field to the other. Chance here as they turn it on the inside, but Radlinski has gone without it. Shaky start to the match for Chris Radlinski. A couple of problems for him on attack and defence. And now it's Ellis.
Let's have a look on the CRC replay there. Farrell just turning inside, but not connecting. really sometimes look a little bit lost on attack near the try line. Sort of anything goes, as if there's nobody out there inserting their authority, where young Goulding has got to do that. He's so effective with the ball in hand.
Wiki with a bit of room to move. Broadbent stops him a couple of metres inside the Lions territory. 3-1, the handling errors against the Lions. Now it's Vangana. Great to have viewers with us on B-Sky B throughout Britain, Foxtel in Australia, 2 Sports action around New Zealand. The kick by Rich. It's still the final tackle, and Damu just gets the kick in. The chase is on. Spruce gets back there, and he's going to be chased by Jones, and Jones does a great job, like a little terrier dog. He caught him and tackled him in goal. So it'll be a goal-mouth dropout, and it was good work by Gene Namu to get the kick in, because they had him pretty well wrapped up.
Yeah, Stacey Jones been following up well today, and you see him here putting pressure on Spruce. He couldn't get out of there. It puts more pressure on the Great Britain side.
Probably a bit reluctant to step off that ingrown toenail as well.
Don't you go on about that now all game. We've already proved you wrong.
30 metres out from the Great Britain line. It's New Zealand 6 apiece here, and New Zealand hard on attack through Vangana. Eru at dummy half. Jones, switch of play to Namu. The inside pass to Ridge up from fullback. He got away from one. Can't link up with the outside man. In fact, he lost the ball, and Alan Hunt comes away with it. So New Zealand really have to watch their ball control, especially on attack. Maida.
Yes, that's one thing New Zealand have to do, is complete their sets of 6, really. They're so effective usually on the third and fourth tackle. That's where they make all their breaks. But Great Britain, from a kick return or from a spill ball, are quite keen to throw the ball out wide. They obviously think that's where they're going to take New Zealand on, out wide.
Yeah, I noticed on the last couple of plays they've been very keen to attack the left side of the defensive line, the Kiwi defensive line, and they've been down that left side. Betts had a bit of luck with the early try, and they've been successful down that side a couple of times.
Yeah, we see it here out wide there. I just wonder whether they've looked at the tapes and maybe they don't move up on the blind side, but they seem pretty solid in defence right through the park, New Zealand. So it is working for them, though, the Great Britain side.
Mark Ellis returning the kick. Timu, the try scorer for New Zealand. 10 from halfway. Now it's Namu. Iro, the inside pass to Wiki. And Wiki stepped his way through. Great run, Ruben Wiki. Couldn't link up with Namu. Iro, they put it through the hands out wide. The long pass to Timu. Shows it on the inside. Wrapped up. Radlinski underneath this time. Over the top with Sculthorpe. Jones. Tyron Smith. Jones looking for his back. So Namu turns it inside to Kearney. The Lions read that one pretty well. Halfway through the first half. 1 try apiece. Namu. The bomb. Spruce wants it. They leave it behind the Lions. The Kiwis weren't there to gather it, and Hunt comes up with it.
Well, that was a bit of a let-off for the Great Britain side there. 2 players colliding, and one looks to be in a little bit of trouble. But Hunt was there to clean it up. Otherwise, New Zealand were going to regather and score a try.
Yeah, I think it's Spruce that went down fairly heavily there. It was quite a collision, a lack of communication. Usually you leave that ball for the fullback.
Hammond to Powell. Good ball and all tackle there from Hoppy. Completed sets of 6. New Zealand 7, Great Britain 4. Hammond can't get away from Vangana. Betts, a little kick. Well, inside their own half. Was that a great option by Dennis Betts?
Well, you probably know you're in a little bit of trouble when you've got your second row trying little chip kicks out there. They're really trying anything and a little bit lost. Let's have a look on the CRC replay there. was a nothing play.
Well, it's all happening here on the sideline. Grant Young going back on after being in the blood bin. Joe Vagana coming off. Great Britain looking to bring on Bernard Dwyer, but they could be in a bit of problems with Alan Hunt. He looks to be limping, and also Stuart Spruce after that high bomb. He looks to be in a bit of pain.
Now New Zealand are 19 metres out. Here's Young. First touch after a breather in the blood bin. 10 metres out. Great attacking opportunity for the Kiwis. Namu, Jones out wide. Picks up Ridge. Ridge with the dummy. Tried to hit the gap at speed, but it soon closed. Timu at dummy half. Now it's Jones and Namu. Namu, again the bomb. Will it come off for them this time? Lying loose, picked up by Hoppy, but it was knocked forward by a New Zealander earlier on, and so it's going to be a handover to the line. So again, they survive under the high ball.
Well, I'd like to see that one again. Let's have a look on the CRC replay, because I doubt whether a New Zealand player hit that. Let's have a look. You see big Tony Oro going in there. Well, it may have come off Tony. I've not been known to be wrong before, not that often, but I have been known to be wrong. I may have been that time before Clarkey says it.
No comment.
Well, the hooker, Kieran Cunningham, he's come off. He looks to be carrying a shoulder or an arm injury. Bernard Dwyer looking there at acting half. He'll settle into this match quickly.
And Farrell leading by example, the young skipper.
Yeah, he's a good player too, Bernard Dwyer. He, you know, a very good tackler, and he's a pretty handy guy getting out of dummy half.
Gilding. A deep kick, and it's a good bounce for Sean Hoppy, 10 out from his own line.
Well, this Great Britain side, although losing a few players going off the sideline with injuries, they're hanging in there, and that's all that counts. As long as they can hang in there and keep within scoring chance, or just keep hanging in with the New Zealand side, then the further the game goes on, they're in with a big show, because they've got the players here who can try things. And the Great Britain side are not scared to throw the ball around and push a pass.
31 metres out from the New Zealand line. Eru cleaned it up and got it out to Pongia.
Well, already we've seen a willingness from both sides to just almost attack at every opportunity. We will see some errors, but unless the coaches pull these sides in, you know, I think both teams just want to play entertaining and score a lot of tries for the public.
Yeah, it could be an interesting second half here. Stay with us on 2 Sports Action as Ellis has it on the far side. He hasn't had too many opportunities, Mark Ellis. You'll hear the roar of the crowd when he gets some room to move. Now Rich gets the kick in. He keeps it low. He sends Barry John Mather back, and he takes it just 5 metres or so out from his own line. Barry John Mather, the Western Reds, and of course he was at Wigan when you were coach there too, John.
Yeah, he was a big guy that we recruited him from rugby union, and you know, actually started off playing in the centres, in the back row. So he's moved from the back row to the centres, and now he's on the wing. But he's a player that, given a chance, he can score a try.
Bernard Dwyer is at dummy half, and it's 4-1 to New Zealand as far as line breaks go. Haven't been able to convert many of them, though. Only the one try to Timu. Broad bent. Goulding. Kicking on the 4th tackle. Back to Hoppy now. The chasers are there. Good line of defence by the Lions as they moved up on Hoppy. Namu a dummy half. Jones. Grant Young. Back to Jones. Now it's Pongia.
Well, the New Zealand side look as though they're really enjoying themselves out there, always looking to offload, and they're getting a good go forward. Really starting to dominate in the forwards.
A couple of metres inside the Lions' territory now. Iro. Bounced out of one. Ridge. Eru. Long ball to Tyron Smith. Radlinski and Farrell tackling him.
It's interesting to watch Bobby Goulding. Once the opposition get the ball, Bobby Goulding just goes straight behind the defensive line and waits for the last tackle, and he just doesn't participate in the defensive side of the game. He just comes up on the last tackle and puts a bit of pressure on.
Chance here, the inside pass to Kearney. It was a great break by Stacey Jones. 10 metres out, right in front of the uprights. Final tackle on the way. Rigid dummy half to Namu. Namu, long ball out to Smith. Smith popped it over to Ellis. Ellis has to get it back now to the support. It's Timu. Timu, he needs to link up with the outside men. They're going backwards, looking to get something going forward. Now it is Ridge. Ridge with the kick. The chase is on. Ridge and Spruce. Spruce gets there, but only just. So that's no try, but New Zealand will get another crack at it. 6-all.
Yes, good work there from Matthew Ridge. Nice little kick through. Spruce was there to regather and to save.
Restart, and the lines were well offside, but it's play on.
Chris Joint on for Terry O'Connor.
Chris Joint from the St Helens Club. Young. So New Zealand get another set of 6. They keep it alive. Kearney turning in the tackle.
Yeah, I don't think the Great Britain side will hold them out this set of 6. I think, you know, that there's a few cracks starting to appear, and we'll see what happens.
Namu, the inside pass to Tyron Smith, charging onto it. He needed some support, it wasn't there. Rigid dummy half. Now it's Jones. Jones, Kearney, out the back door to Wiki. Ruben Wiki! John Mooney predicted it. There it is. Another try to the New Zealand Kiwis. Ruben Wiki a double last week. He's on the score sheet here as well. And New Zealand lead by 10 points to 6.
I ought to be a coach.
Well, I'll tell you, I was just about to say exactly what John said, but he got him before me. Anyway, let's have a look on the CRC replay there. New Zealand are keeping the ball alive. They're not being shut down, and that's where they're making the gaps. Stacey Jones getting involved now. Ruben Wiki, he's such a strong runner. He's already made 2 or 3 busts down the middle. The Great Britain side cannot handle Ruben Wiki. Just watch him with ball in hand. He's very, very powerful. Now, he's known as a great defender, but look at him close to the line. You just will not stop him.
Yeah, it just is a case of the players putting the ball through the hands until a gap opens up. Dennis Betts just drifting slightly behind the line, expecting Stephen Kearney to be tackled, and on comes to the ball. Ruben Wiki puts a foot down. Here he goes in the corner.
And he's happy about that. The Canberra Raider, only 23 years of age. It's his 12th test match, and he scored 7 tries in 12 tests. Not a bad average. That's the angle in the distance for Matthew Ridge, a metre in from the broadcast hutch here at Lancaster Park. The New Zealand Test points record holder. Trying to swing it around. Can't do it. No goal, but the New Zealanders have the lead, 10 points to 6. Ruben Wiki, the try scorer. And Matthew Ridge will perform the restart.
The Kiwis making another substitution. Logan Swan getting another taste of the action early in this test match. He'll come on for Stephen Kearney, who's having a slight break.
Logan Swan wearing number 17, only 20 years of age. I wonder if his cousin Anthony Swan, another 20-year-old, will get a little bit of a taste in the second half.
What you were saying earlier on, John, about Bobby Goulding, I just wonder whether he saves himself for his attacking play because he doesn't get involved in defence, and really it's 13 on, or 12 on 11 because he does stand on the line, but really if he's not going to defend, he's got to be involved in the play a lot more, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does, but he takes the first passes a lot in the Great Britain side and sets up play, so, and he kicks the ball on the last tackle, but we'll keep our eye on him here and just see whether he does get involved.
Don't worry about keeping an eye on him. I'm keeping an eye on the guy in the white boots, Terry O'Connor. And I tell you, he's not having a great game with those white boots because you stand out so much too, don't you? I mean, I don't want to be seen to pick on him.
You'll have a bit of trouble keeping an eye on him now. He's on the bench having a spell.
That's what I was saying.
Maybe he'll change his boots.
That's why he's gone off. He wasn't doing enough.
Grant Young.
I think to Bobby Goulding's credit, though, he has been a terrier through these first 2 test matches, and, you know, if he is going to have a little rest out there behind the defensive line, really, I think he deserves it.
Now it's Wiki. Jones. Iro the long ball to Timu. Calling his old All Black mate, Mark Ellis, on the inside. Ellis taken by Hunt and also Radlinski. team who plays it. Jones, Pongia, Logan Swan got away from one, taken by Harris, who's on there. Yeston Harris, the 20-year-old from Warrington in the number 14 jersey. Final tackle on the way. Namu, midfield bomb, kicking for Ellis's wing, but Hunt got up there and took it well. Bit of an awkward fall there, but he looks to be okay. On the CRC replay.
Yeah, great take there from Hunt. Didn't take his eye off the ball.
Chris Joint. And Bernard Dwyer, a dummy half. Short ball from Farrell to Betsy, couldn't control it. They'll play the knock on.
Well, that was read there by Gene Namu on his Warrior teammate Dennis Betts. Moved up. Really, it wasn't a great pass to Dennis. Have a look here on the CRC replay, and a lot of traffic there. Just took his eye off the ball.
Two tries to one, 10-6 to New Zealand. Down the blind side. Great ball inside to Logan Swan. He needs to get it to Jones. Couldn't do so. Wrapped up ball and all by Harris. Namu. Long ball to Iro. From one side to the other. This is attractive rugby league. And both sides continue to throw the ball around. Timu tackled 35 metres out. Or make that 25 out. Jones. Young. Grant Young heading to the Warriors in 97. Have a bigger reputation after his performances in the Test series. Pongia.
Well, he certainly showed that he can play consistent football week in and week out, and that's all you can ask.
And Eru having a go on his own, looking for the corner. Ellis at dummy half. Namu to Jones. The long ball to Logan Swan. Iro. Wiki got away from Goulding. Back to nobody. Picked up by... Well, Swan tried to control it. Couldn't do so. And so Great Britain come away with it. And Yeston Harris cuts infield. Ridge has it.
Well, Great Britain continue to hang in there really at half-time. They're still with the big show in this game. The defence has been strong. A little bit lost on attack, but they are trying things. They're throwing the ball around. Bobby Goulding's in there telling his players what to do, trying to get his forwards going forward.
Great Britain have led at half-time in the two previous tests, only to lose the first 17-12 and the second 18-15.
And this is the most important time, just before half-time. We've said that, and after half-time. It's where the Kiwis have really let themselves down and let Great Britain in. Let's hope they don't do it this game.
Territory, New Zealand 60%. And possession going New Zealand's way, 57 to 43%. They only lead by 4. Goulding. Intercept! Gene Namu! Will he go all the way? Spruce is a real flyer, but he gave him too much start. There's a gift, 4 points for New Zealand. Gene Namu read it perfectly, snapped it up, and he converted it into points. 14 points to 6.
Well, the CRC replay will show Bobby Goulding there. He was either going to set his player down the sideline. I think he was going to score a try either way. Went against him there. Gene Namu just stood his ground. Goes in for a 70, 80-metre try, and really you can't stop him. He's got plenty of pace, Gene, and that's exactly what the Kiwis needed just before half-time. That'll give them the boost they wanted. Let's have a look here once more. Bobby looking, dummying to kick. Gene was just hanging in there. Would have been dangerous if he hadn't have got it, but Gene got it. And that's great stuff for the New Zealand side. Looking like a clean sweep.
Yes, Gene Namu, that's his 11th try. And he's only played 17 test matches so far, still only 22 years of age. He's maturing with every test match. And I guess, Dwayne Mann, when you back yourself for an intercept, you really have to you have to make sure it comes off.
Well, the Kiwis had that one covered all the way. Mark Ellis had dropped back, and Alan Hunt, he really didn't know what was going on. And the poacher, Namu, he comes up with the goods.
Yes, usually it's Sean Hoppy. He's known for his intercepts, but well done for Gene.
Ridge, difficult conversion attempt from out wide. Struck it well. There's another 2 points from the master kicker. 16 points to 6, New Zealand over Great Britain. Ridge kicks off. Just a couple of minutes before the half-time break. Broadbent hit by Pongia. Proud moment for Quentin Pongia, a West Coaster, but an adopted Cantabrian, and this is the first opportunity he's had to play a test here.
Yes, and they certainly enjoy watching him too, the Canterbury people. Very, very loyal Canterbury people, as you probably guessed. And has the sun gone down yet, or it's still shining? I mean, it shines on this park all night. Shining on the Kiwis out there.
Betts got away from 1 or 2, up over halfway. Hammond at dummy half to Farrell. Goulding. There's the kick over the head of Ellis. And he gets a good bounce. Got away from Hunt. Good return of the football by Ellis. Manages to stay in the field to play. He'll play it on the 30-metre mark.
And you certainly know when Mark Ellis gets the ball, because the crowd go wild, don't they? He's an exciting little player. They're putting a little bit of pressure on him. They're kicking to his side, the Great Britain players.
Well, that sign says it all. Pongia.
I think that was his sister come up from Dunedin.
I'm waiting for your family to put up the Brent Todd signs.
Oh, they'll be down there somewhere.
Brent Todd, leave town.
5 from halfway. Iro! Spotted the gap, Tony Iro. He's got Tyron Smith on no, it was Logan Swan on the inside. He couldn't control the ball. Half a chance there for the New Zealanders, but the gaps are opening up out there. Mather for Great Britain now. He's about 28 out from his own line.
Well, the gaps are opening up. Have a look on the CRC replay there. Tony Oro just trying to position Swan, but they couldn't go on with it. Great Britain just dropping off in their defence just a little bit.
Chris Joint, 10 from halfway. Broadbent. Harris trying to step his way through. He can't get away from Logan Swan. Farrell. Final tackle coming up. Goulding. Little kick over the top, and he regathers, but he can't control the ball. And now it is Timu. Open spaces for John Timu. Inside it goes to Namu. Barry John Mather comes across. Long ball out to Hoppy. Hoppy for the corner. Try to New Zealand. It started deep inside their own half. They opened them up. Great setup and a great finish. And the scoreline's looking pretty good too. 20 points to 6, the Kiwis over the Lions. Smiles all round.
Well, that's what happens when you're trying to play catch-up football. The CRC replay will show once again Bobby Goulding just pushing the pass. Didn't work for them, but the Kiwis regathering. I thought they were going to be stopped here, but they're just backing up. Matthew Ridge on the outside was flying, but Gene Namu saw Sean Hoppy, and Hoppy one-on-one usually beats some very, very strong runner near the line, and that's a great try for Sean and a great try for the Kiwis.
John Timu, look at him fly. He's going, and the good thing is the support stays with him. He's not easy to follow, but he gets a good ball away to Namu. Namu, I thought he'd go on the way. He turned BJ Mather inside out. He comes across looking for Sean Hoppy, doing a good job as wingers do. They come up on the outside. He had enough strength and enough toe to get to the line. Good on you, Sean.
Scores his 12th try. He is the most capped in this New Zealand squad, his 24th test match. Still only 25 years of age. Well, 4 tries to 1 now. .67% for Ridge. Another difficult one, a metre in from touch. This time he's pushed it across the face of the uprights. No goal, but the scoreline remains 20 points to 6. And there is still time for a restart. No, the referee has now called half-time. So that's a very impressive first 40 by the New Zealand Kiwis. They lead 20 points to 6. Welcome back to Lancaster Park, and the Kiwis have been flying in the first half, running in 4 tries to 1 over the Great Britain Lions. Although the Lions started pretty well and had the early lead, but Sean Hoppy scored the 4th of the tries for the New Zealanders. So the important stat at halftime, 20 points to 6. If you have a look at the handling errors, well, they've dropped it 3 times, the Kiwis, but the Lions have coughed it up 5 times. The Kiwis have dominated the territory, and they've also had to make more tackles. Well, Brent Todd, your thoughts after that first 40 here at Lancaster?
Well, it's been a great effort from the New Zealand side. They've hung in there, and the most important time was that time before half-time, and they were able to score 2 tries. Tremendous effort. The forwards are going well. Great Britain look a little bit rattled on attack. And their defence has dropped off a little bit too, so it was a great first half. I'm sure their coach, Frank Endicott, will be very happy.
What about a comment now from the Warriors coach, John Money, who's moved down to the sideline? Your thoughts after the first half, John?
Yeah, I think Great Britain will hang on a little bit in this second half, but after maybe 10-15 minutes, I think the floodgates could open.
OK, well, let's have a look at all of the tries in the first half, and it was a great start by the Lions.
Yes, down the blind side there. Dennis Betts going in for a quick blindside move into dummy half. Had a look, there was no one there. The marker didn't chase out. Good, nice quick play of the ball. Good try from Dennis.
And John Money, this was a great try by the New Zealanders. A good reply by Timu.
Yeah, if you watch the red-headed boy, Radlinski, he just keeps backing away from Timu until it's too late. There are only 2 attackers, 2 defenders, and he didn't do a job on the ball carrier. He overread the play.
And from then on, it was one-way traffic. Wiki the next to score.
Yeah, very strong, wasn't he? Very strong runner near the line. Powerful runner, Ruben Wiki, backing up well. And it's good to see someone running off Stephen Kearney. He'll always turn the ball up, and great try to Ruben.
And then it was this great intercept, John. Namu, your Warriors standoff, 5'8".
Yeah, great opportunist try this. He read the play. There had to be a pass onto the outside, and got very good hands, Gene, and good pace over the first 30 metres. So a good opportunist try to Gene.
And they really proved here, the Kiwis, that they're prepared to throw it around out there tonight.
Well, they are prepared to throw it around, and this was really from a mistake from Great Britain. And of course, John Timu, when he's got the ball in hand, he's very quick and very evasive. Now Matthew Ridge comes flying up on the outside. Gene just didn't connect with him. He opted for Sean Hoppy, and well, what a great option, Sean Hoppy. One-on-one, he's always going to get in there and score. And that was a good stuff from the Kiwis just before half-time.
OK, so 20 points to 6. We're just 40 minutes away from yet another series to be completed by the New Zealanders and also the Lions. They go back to 1907. I know you don't go back
but you do.
that far. But, you know, the first tour happened back in 1907 by a team called the All Goals. They were, in fact, the All Blacks who turned to the All Goals because they took a few dollars. There was the odd Australian in there as well. And if you have a look at this book here, I suggest you go out and have a look, because it is, in fact, here we go here, the All Goals. Yeah, from All Blacks to All Goals, Rugby League's pioneers, and it is a great story about the history of the game, and it is in the bookstores right now. Stay with us on 2 Sports Action. We'll take a short break, then we'll come back with the second 40. The Kiwis looking for the clean sweep. 2 Sports Action at Lancaster Park in Christchurch. A good night so far for Kiwi League. Looking very much as if they can go on and take the clean sweep, the first one since 1984. Let's go to the sideline now. Brendan Telford with Dwayne Mann.
Well, it's a cool night down here on the sideline, but it's plenty of excitement here for the first time, of course, in the series. The Kiwis going into the second half of the test. Dwayne Mann very much in the cockpit, in the driving seat here. I guess for their own credibility and their own self-belief, they really must finish the Lions off tonight, not allow them back into the match.
Well, their catchphrase going into tonight's third test has been to dominate, and they have done that early in this first half.
And the Lions, I guess it's like a byline for the whole tour. They're in trouble again.
Well, their bench could give them concern. Once their players who came into this match with injuries do fatigue, I don't think they have the depth to cover those players. And also, they've picked up 1 or 2 fresh injuries out there tonight.
Greg.
Thank you. We'll have more comments from Dwayne Mann and John Money with Brent Todd throughout the second half. And Rich, first touch of the ball in the second 40, and already they put it through the hands at Ellis. Fumbled it, but managed to control it. He ran straight into Radlinski and also Farrell.
Yes, New Zealand side looking to shift the ball wide, but Great Britain read it well. And Mark Ellis took a heavy hit there. But New Zealand just have to settle down and just carry on the way they're going, because Great Britain are the ones who are going to have to play catch-up football.
Aero dummy half, 15 from halfway, and Logan Swan is on there. It's an interesting story, the Logan Swan story. 20 years of age, never played first grade this year, and now we see him in his 3rd test match.
Yes, and he's played very well for the New Zealand side. Well, I suppose anyone could go out there because you're with a team of 13 good players, and it's very easy just to fit in, and he has fit in very nicely to the side. It just looks like they're really enjoying themselves and playing good football, the New Zealand side. And when you're winning, things just seem to happen for you, and things really come off for you.
Spruce, taken by Ellis, good chasing by the winger.
That's a great chase from the New Zealand side there. Your kick's only as good as your chase. The New Zealand side just showing how enthusiastic they are in the second half.
The way John Money sprinted back from the other side of the field, I think he might be playing in the Warriors #2 jersey next year. As we have a look at the first half tackles, what a big effort by Tony Iro, 20 tackles, leading the count ahead of Pongia and also Smith as they go wide the lines in Harris. Really hasn't got any way through there, but what a great move by Yeston Harris. He's into open spaces. I think he'll go all the way. Ridge coming at him. He pops it out. It's been intercepted by New Zealand. Well, there was nothing on there, and Yeston Harris just seemed to amble his way through and then got into some open spaces.
And what about Matthew Ridge? A sensational tackle there by the flying fullback, saved a certain try. Just have a look at the defence so early on from the Kiwis. Watch the chase from Matthew Ridge on Harris, and saved. And of course, Hoppy in there as well. Well, that is not the start New Zealand were looking for, but...
And now they cough up the football. That was a bad pass, so they cannot afford to relax, really, the New Zealanders, even though they lead by 20 points to 6, and it's Farrell now, trying to make them pay for a couple of mistakes.
The Kiwis only have 12 men in defence. Mark Ellis is down in back play. He looks to have a serious problem. Richard Blackmore's warming up.
And Chris Joint. There's Ellis there receiving some attention from Peter Boyle, the physiotherapist, as Goulding puts it through the hands, the inside pass. Linking up brilliantly there with Adrian Morley, and that's a great start to the second half. The 19-year-old from Leeds, Adrian Morley, is in between the sticks, 20 points to 10. The Lions are not out of this yet.
Wow, Great Britain taking advantage of Mark Ellis being down. Looks as though he's down his knee. Have a look on the CRC replay there, keeping the ball alive. New Zealand just missing out on the tackles. And that's a great try. The defence from the New Zealand side the last 4 or 5 minutes into the second half has been very soft. They have to make sure they strengthen up on that, because Great Britain are firing.
Yeah, it has come when Mark Ellis has been out of play. Bobby Goulding drifting across the field, bringing Yeston Harris back inside. He'll drift across, and Adrian Morley hits a gap well. Tyrone Smith missing the tackle. Richie Blackmore's almost come round from the sideline.
Well, I just wonder about Richard Blackmore being on. Mark Ellis is still on the field. Is he allowed to be on there as well? There's 14 on.
Well, there's the extra 2 points from right in front by Bobby Goulding, and so the gap narrows. It's now 20 points to 12. Mark Ellis being stretched off at the moment, and that's a bad sign, not only for New Zealand, also for his coach, John Money.
Yes, it looks to be a knee problem there.
So it is the Lions and the restart by Goulding. That's going to give them a lot of confidence now, John Money.
Yeah, well, they start very well at the start of the game. Then they've started the second half very well. But you know, as I thought, maybe after 15, 20 minutes, I just think that the Kiwis will start to assert their authority again and start getting over that try line.
Iro got it back to Eru. He's had a fine series, Sid Eru.
It's going to be a little question mark over Matthew Ridge. He's gone down twice with a sore back. Just wonder how much he's suffering out there. He's staying on the field as a courageous captain, but I wonder for how long.
Namu. And Timu had to stop in his tracks, and now they flick it across. It's like a game of touch at the moment. Stacey Jones tries to do something about it. He's taken by Hammond, and also in there is Broadbent. Plays it on the halfway. Final tackle coming up, and Matthew Ridge gets the kick in. He's going to turn Alan Hunt around. And Hunt will have to pick it up a metre or so out from his own try line. We're hearing from the sideline team that Mark Ellis is on the way to hospital with a bad cut on his leg.
If we just watch the English side now, they'll just be trying to move the ball down without making any mistakes, and the Kiwis will be just trying to force an error down here.
And let's remember, at 20-12, the Lions are still in this one with a big show. Only one try out of it.
So it's Goulding. The pass goes wide to Farrell. Radlinski, a dummy half to Goulding. Broadbent. Again, I think it's fair to say that the Great Britain forwards have been doing their job against the Kiwis.
Well, I thought New Zealand had dominated in that first half in the forwards, but you can just see they've upped the tempo of the Great Britain side. They've got a little bit excited after that little rush of blood there near the New Zealand try line, and I really feel as though they probably still can win this one.
Yeah, from a coach's point of view too, I've got to give Tony Euro a good a rap, because we know him as a ball carrier, a guy that'll carry the football to the line and maybe lay a nice pass on for a break or a try. And to see him come up with that sort of work in defence, you know, he certainly must be working hard on both sides of the game.
There's the man now. Iro, he gets the pass to Namu. Timu. Swan. Logan Swan, 32 out from the Great Britain line. Jones. Don't forget, at the end of the match, we'll have $500 for our CRC New Zealand man of the match, and Betts comes away with it. Handling error by the New Zealanders.
Yeah, it's those little mistakes New Zealand really can't afford there. A little inside ball to Quinton Pongia, just didn't connect, and Dennis Betts was there to pick it up. Now, it could be made to pay New Zealand if they keep coughing the ball up.
And although the Kiwis have come up with the error, Great Britain did have the defensive numbers there. And really, if they're going to go on with this game or give themselves a chance to get back into it, they give themselves these first 10 minutes.
Goulding. Hammond throws the dummy. Swan has him. Also in there is Smith. Farrell, a dummy half. The left-footed kick by the skipper gives it plenty of air. Ridge calling for it. Play on. It's back to one. And there's a chance out wide for Alan Hunt. And now Radlinski has gone without it. Knock back, play on. They get another crack at it. Now it's Hammond. Hammond the inside pass, and that really wasn't required. Knocked back, and the New Zealanders come away with it. Now they had another set of 6.
Well, obviously he didn't hear the call, because he's butchered a set of 6 in the 22 area. Let's have a look on the CRC replay there. It was a great kick. And Matthew Ridge knocked it back. Now Great Britain there have got 6 more tackles. There's the referee signalling.
There's a series of knockbacks, but then they pushed that pass. And New Zealand took it with gratitude. 20 points to 12. Tony Iro taking his time to get to his feet. Iro saying he's copped a punch or something in the mouth and plenty of claret flowing. So he'll spend some time in the blood bin.
Steve Kearney will come on for Tony Iro.
Well, Dennis Betts there just went maybe a little bit high there on Tony Iro. Yes, maybe just a little bit high. The blood shows that. Had a fine game out there, Tony. There's another mistake, though. They can't afford to do this, New Zealand.
This time they get the penalty.
Oh, that's a good let off there for Young.
The ball was ripped. The kick went backwards, but still they found touch. And now it's Young.
That's good work from Young, really, because he took that ball up. He made a bit of a mistake, but he's always first one to get in there and hit that ball up again from a tap. That's a sign of a good front row, always getting in there keen to work.
They just need to lift the tempo a little bit, the Kiwis. They've just gone a little bit flat. The Great Britain side come out. They've started really well, and, you know, we need something to happen this set of 6 for the Kiwis.
Great opportunity for them. Looking for their first points in the second half, and Pongia charges into them right in front of the uprights now, 20 metres out. As Eru waits for it a dummy half. Jones. Namu. Namu turning. Jane Namu will score! No! Couldn't get it down. What about that tackle by Spruce? Gene Namu looked as if it had 4 points written all over it.
Well, the CRC replay will show a spin and turn. Looked as though he was going for a certain try, but great defence there from Spruce.
Well, a let-off there maybe for the Great Britain Lions, but they charge on with it now, and Farrell is now almost 40 metres out from his own line.
And, you know, it's little efforts like that, little inspirational efforts like that can really lift the side.
We think back to the second test, and the New Zealanders got over the line 3 times, but they were denied a try on each of those occasions. Oh, big defence there. Grant Young. Crunching tackle.
You know, he is a great defender. He drives in low, Grant Young. You very rarely, in fact, I've never seen him put in a high tackle. He's got a beautiful style for a big man, and he goes in and drives them back.
New Zealand have it now from that little kick and chase by Great Britain. Pongia. Really doing the hard yards out there. Quentin Pongia played the full 80 minutes last week and hasn't been rested so far in this match, as far as I'm aware. Logan swung.
For Great Britain, Terry O'Connor has come on for Paul Broadbent, and that tackle by Stuart Spruce, he'd done that in last week's test. He held up Stacey Jones, and he's done a fantastic job again to get across and cover and tie up Jean Namu.
So they're 20 metres out. Jones, Namu, the double round, planned move as he brings Timu back infield. That was read pretty well by Chris Joint.
Yeah, they're just missing out on one more pass on those inside runners. They turn the ball inside pretty well, and they do need a link-up pass.
Here's the bomb by Ridge, taken by the New Zealanders. Namu, but they'll need to keep it alive, and there's a knock-on there by Great Britain. So the New Zealanders should get the feed into the scrum. Yes, he's given the feed to New Zealand.
Well, Great Britain not too happy with that. Great take from Sean Hoppy. Jean just looking to offload now. Let's have a look, see if it is knocked on. There it is, that slight knock on.
Stephen Clark, the referee from Australia. Chris Joint has moved into the front row for Great Britain.
Yeah, they're stacking this left side. Probably a good sign that they're going the other way.
Take it in. Take it in.
Jones puts it in. The referee wants it in again, though. What have they got here? Namu going very wide, 2-on-1. Hoppy, but he steps in field. He had Ridge on the outside. He didn't need him. Sean Hoppy gets a double. The move paid off. The Great Britain defenders were in 2 minds. Hoppy backed himself on the inside, and it's 24 points to 12.
Well, another good call from John Boney there. CRC replay will show that it stuck this side. There was only 2 players out wide, but Sean Hoppy, well, he's run through 3 or 4 Great Britain defenders. Close to the line, he's been very effective, Sean. He's a very strong runner. Just have a look here on the CRC replay. Spots that line, goes straight over for a much-needed try to New Zealand.
Yeah, well, Great Britain done a good job of actually making a bit of a mess from the scrum. They got a slow ball out, and when it eventually does get to Hoppy, he puts a foot down. Matthew Rich had done a great decoy run to go across the outside, but he wasn't needed in the end.
Sean Hoppy, a double tonight. 13 test tries now for the 25-year-old in his 24th test match. So plenty of soul-searching going on in goal again for the Great Britain Lions, as Ridge tries to add the extra 2. It's there. It's another 2 points to Ridge and the New Zealanders. The Kiwis now lead the Lions 26 points to 12. 14 points of difference at Lancaster Park. He's the man with the white shoes. It's been fascinating, Brent Todd, for the duration of the match so far. Yes, Terry O'Connor.
I'm a bit disappointed a front row wearing. I didn't think I'd see the day, but I've seen it. Well, you see all sorts of things these days, don't you? But white boots, come on.
Yeah, I think I've got to agree with Brent. I just can't handle seeing the front row out there with the white boots on.
You wouldn't mind if you had a bit of pace and a step. He's going to do something spectacular. Anyway, enough said.
Let's get on with the football and the 3rd test match.
I think that try by the Kiwis may have snuffed out this Great Britain attack. They came out the first 5 minutes of that second half really blazing, but you know the talk has quietened down and they're starting to look a bit unorganised.
Fielding gets the kick in. Oh, gets a lot of distance with it as well. And Hoppy is back there. He has to clean it up in goal, and the chase is pretty good. Mather claims Hoppy 10 out from the New Zealand line.
That's one thing that's probably missing from the Great Britain side, is that great kick and chase. As we have a look at tackles made, New Zealand 170. Well, Great Britain 200. That's going to take a bit of petrol out of you. But I was just looking at Bobby Goulding there. In those first two tests, he was kicking and chasing and really putting that tackle down. He hasn't been doing that too much, but I suppose New Zealand have really had all the possession, haven't they?
Kearney lost that ball. Had it in two hands, looking to pass.
Steve Kearney once again looking to offload, as he does always, just couldn't connect that one.
And an opportunity here for the Lions, and Alan Hunt is going to be tackled about 32 metres out from the New Zealand line. 12-5, the line breaks in favour of New Zealand, and they've scored 5 tries to 2. Farrell to Radlinski. Hammond. Taken by Smith. Farrell running to the advantage line. There's a little grubber kick, picked up by Hoppy though. And Sean Hoppy again will be tackled 10 metres out from his own line. You know, when you look at the recent records, you probably think that the New Zealand Rugby League should play a few more test matches in Christchurch, because New Zealand have won the last 3 tests they've played against the Lions here in the South Island, 84, 88, and also in 90. And looks like they could be on the way to a win in 96. Logan Swan. Namu waits for it. Tongia.
Pongi has been one of the real workhorses of the tour, of the series as well. Very impressive display.
Yes, he does the sort of work that you don't see a lot of. And we talked about a little bit earlier on, the guy that does 30 tackles and hits up 25 times, and yet you'll see one of the wingers score a try and they get all the glory. But those front rowers, they work hard.
Yeah, he's not a glamour player, but he's certainly a very, very important part of this good New Zealand side.
Yes, and the only ones that really appreciate them are the halfbacks and the coaches.
Well, he's still quite young too, Quinton, and you know, I believe over the next 2 or 3 years he's going to harden up even more.
Well, already he's played 22 test matches and still only 26 years of age. Still hasn't scored a test try, so in front of his adopted home crowd, wouldn't it be great to see him pick up a 4-pointer here tonight? The Lions 10 from halfway. Joint to Betts. Dennis has been well marked tonight.
Well, he's certainly one of their danger players, isn't he, Dennis? And, you know, if you can cut out probably Goulding, Dennis Betts and Farrell, really, you're really cutting down a lot of their options.
Farrell gets a kick in over the head of Matthew Rich, but he picks it up on the first bounce. And Dennis Betts meets him on the 20-metre mark. Hoppy, taken by Betts again.
Yeah, gee, Matthew Rich, what a courageous player he is, though. He's obviously carrying an injury out there, but just puts his heart into everything. He's a real competitor, and you can see that he instills that in the rest of the team. He talks behind there, tells them exactly what's happening, keeps them going.
Stacey Jones, chance here. Oh, it's been touched by Radlinski, so it'll be back to 1. The referee hasn't signalled it yet, though. No, he says it's a second tackle. Didn't get the call from the touch judge either. But now it is Namu turning it inside to big Grant Young. And Young is 25 metres out. They've lost it. New Zealand have given it away, and the Lions come up with it. Now they push it wide. Hammond throws a dummy, taken by Wiki. And he got away and kept it alive. Betts, 10 from halfway.
Well, Dennis Betts is putting his hand up. He's come up with a couple of important tackles, and he's trying to ruck the ball out as hard as he can. Probably, it looks like a couple of the players. Radlinski, he looks to be in a bit of bother. He's backed away from 2 tackles where normally he'd go in and make them front on. And also Alan Hunt, he's carrying a slight knee injury. I know last season he came back from quite a bad knee injury, and it may have flared up on him again tonight.
You better be careful, Dwayne. They might call you on shortly. They're running out of troops. Have you got your white boots?
You're right, lad.
Joint straight ahead. 25 metres out from the New Zealand line. Final tackle on the way. Goulding ran as a decoy, went to Hammond. They kept it on the ground, and Hoppy is back there in perfect position. Bit of work for the New Zealanders to do here, though. They're inside their red zone, and Ridge smothered down there a couple of metres out from the line. Ridge taking some time to get to his feet. They've got about a metre or two in 3 tackles, the Kiwis. Pongia.
Well, the Kiwis making another substitution. It could be a bloodman. Grant Young is coming onto the sideline again. Joe Vagana going out onto the paddock.
Yeah, you're in a bit of trouble if you can't make good yards in your early tackles, especially coming off your try line. And a very cunning bit of play from Stephen Kearney then, very cunning.
Yes, the Kiwis talking the penalty. 26 points to 12. 14 points the difference, and Joe Vagana takes them on. 20 metres inside the Lions' territory. Logan Swan. Well, the youngster's getting plenty of time on the park tonight, isn't he?
He's certainly getting involved, isn't he? And goes forward for them. They look so impressive. And that man out there is having a great game against Stephen Kearney.
One of the front runners, no doubt, for our CRC New Zealand man of the match. We'll have $500 to give away at the end of this test match. Jones plays it back to Eru, to Joe Vagana. 13 metres out. Ridge kicking for the corner. Tyron Smith putting a bit of pressure on Alan Hunt, but Hunt stands his ground and took it well. But he took it in the field of play and landed in goal, so that means that it's going to be a goal-mouth dropout.
Yes, great kick here from Matthew Ridge, just putting more pressure on the Great Britain side, but he did take it in the infield of goal. Good call from the referee, so
another set of 6 if they want it. The New Zealanders, they didn't get much distance with that dropout, and Tyron Smith bounced out of 1. He'll play it 22 metres out. Missed tackles. Great Britain have fallen off 15. Starting to get the feeling that maybe the Lions will fall off a few more. Timu. John Timu crunched there. Jones. Vagana on the angle run. Chris Radlinski appealing to the touch judge and the referee there to say that Vagana elbowed him as he went through.
Yeah, it looked a little bit like he's got to be very careful, Joe, when he goes in. He does lift his elbow sometimes.
Hoppy looking for a treble. Got it back though. Namu with the kick. Where's the chase? The ball's going to beat everybody. So 26 points to 12 here at Lancaster Park. The Lions just trying to pull something out of the bag, something to keep them in there with some sort of hope.
And they need to score pretty soon too, because time's ticking down for them. They just need one more try and they're back in this game.
A substitution for the Kiwis. Tyron Smith coming off to the bench and getting his test debut. Anthony Swan gets on the paddock.
Wonderful moment for Anthony Swan, the 21-year-old warrior. He played 9 matches in the Optus Cup in first grade, and here he is playing for his country. And he's out there with his cousin Logan Swan.
Well, perhaps we'll see a few of the Swans get their feathers ruffled. Gee, that was a poor one, wasn't it, folks?
Was it? What?
Goulding, long pass to Hammond. Farrell getting the kick in and finding touch about 18 metres out from the New Zealand line. So they're led by 20-6 at half-time, the New Zealanders. Now the lead is 14, 26 to 12. Forwards taking plenty of time getting to the scrum. The back sucking a bit of air as well. Richie Blackmore is out there. First touch in Test football for Anthony Swan of the Auckland Warriors. A bit of a proud moment for his coach as well. What do you think, John?
Yeah, it's great to see both the Swans out there, Anthony and Logan. They're both very good players, plenty of promise, and to get a taste of Test football at this time of in their careers, it's just a great opportunity for them.
Let's have a look here on the CRC replay there. The ball definitely stripped out. Bit of chat now coming from the Great Britain side. A little bit of frustration maybe. But want to be careful.
Penalties 5-3 to New Zealand. Terry O'Connor gets a verbal warning from the referee Stephen Clark as Namu finds touch. Kearney, Namu, Wiki. Side to Timu. Taken by Morley. The territory being dominated by the New Zealanders, 55% to 45. Possession going New Zealand's way.
New Zealand have good decoy runners too when they spin the ball out wide. Now, a guy to make an effort to be a decoy runner, it's not a flash job, but if you're going to do it, it's a sign of a good side. And blokes do commit themselves to be that decoy.
Timu. Kearney away from Hammond. Still going. Picks up Vangana. Turning in the tackle, Big Joe. He's a real handful. 12 metres out from the line. Eru. Namu. Here's Wiki. Out the back door. Ridge stepping. Ridge for the line. Ridge gets the try. I think it's time to say clean sweep New Zealand.
Well, he's a competitor, isn't he, Matthew Ridge? What a great captain's knock he's had. He's had injuries. He's been involved all day. His kicking game's been great. Let's have a look on the CRC replay there as the captain goes through for a great try, a real individual try. Beats 3 or 4 Great Britain players. There he goes underneath the sticks just when New Zealand needed it. Matthew Ridge come up with it, and it was great stuff from the Kiwi captain. He's in tremendous form. He's a competitor. He's also got that little bit of arrogance, and just have a look at his reaction when he does score that try. It's tremendous.
Well, it's good stuff here. The players just keep the ball alive. Nothing really happening. Defence is in front of them. Quinton Pongi unloads, and Matthew Rich just decides, hey, I'll take it up the middle, I'll have a go. And he powers his slight frame over to the line, and he gets up afterwards, and he has a few words, which is the Matthew Ridge of old. Look at you, big fella.
Well, he's a little stir, isn't he? Got to hand it to him. He's a great player.
Well, they're feeling a little demoralised now, the Great Britain lines, as Matthew Ridge lines up with a shot at goal. In the background, there has been a sensation. Darryl Powell, number 4, the centre for Great Britain, has been sent off. Verbal abuse to the referee. Now, what was going on in the background was that the Lions players were standing in goal as we have a look at Matthew Ridge land another 2 points. So that's 32 points to 12. The touch judge and the referee tried to get the players away from the in-goal area.
Yeah, he's headed over to the bench there. He's got to go the other way. He's got to go into the change room. So I think we'll find somebody who'll get him and take him the right way.
Yeah, you can't stand out here and watch the game, but this is where Great Britain, well, we said a little bit of frustration have crept in. They've got to be careful here because there's been a tremendous effort from the New Zealand side.
And the Kiwis have made another substitution. Logan Swan coming off with cramp. Tony Iro getting back on the paddock.
It'll be a shame to see this test match marred by some frustrations by Great Britain.
So the Lions down to 12 men. So Darryl Powell sent from the field. The referee said he'd had enough. The touch judge couldn't move them from between the sticks. You're not allowed to stand in between the sticks when an opponent is having a shot at goal.
And we'd love to tell you what he said, but we can't. So we'll leave it at that.
Darryl Powell's tour is over. Hammond. That's Yeston Harris.
But we're starting to see a lot of emotion from both sides. The Kiwis, you know, they know they want to be victorious and get the 3-zip. But, you know, this Great Britain side, they don't want to leave empty-handed, and they're going to go right to the wire on this one, even if we do see a bit of claret.
And what about that hit from Joe Wagner? Wow. He certainly...
Great soccer skills by Radlinski. But Ridges back there again to clean up. Great work, the Kiwi skipper. Just as Chris Radlinski looked as if he was going to score with some very, very good ball skills, soccer style.
Yes, great work here. But Matthew Ridgewell, he's always there, that last line of defence. Reads the game so well, Matthew, and saves a certain try.
Inside the last 10 minutes of the third and final test, and 20 points the difference. The restart now by the Kiwis.
Yeah, I'm sure the management wouldn't like to see Darryl Powell sent off. It's been a pretty good tour. There haven't been a lot of penalties in this Test match either, and it's been a hard series, but it's been a very clean series. And as I said, not a lot of penalties.
Well, the word from the bench is that Darryl Powell has announced that this will be his last Test match, so he finishes in a little bit of disgrace being sent from the field. He's been a great servant to the Lions over the years, his 31st Test match.
That's probably why I wanted to watch it from the sideline. He probably thought, well, I can watch it from where I want. Why should I go into the dressing shed? As we see a penalty here. Another hand in the ball. Let's have a look here on the CRC replay there. Two players going for the tackle. There it is, Gene Namu. So Great Britain just getting on a little bit of a roll now.
A touch judge on the field. Just giving a report now. He's going to call Stephen Kearney up. So the penalty's going to go to Great Britain. Quick tap by Farrell. O'Connor. Dwyer trying to steal the march down the blind side. They haven't given up hope yet, the Lions. Hammond showing it, eventually getting it on the inside to Morley. Scored one try in the second half, Adrian Morley. Goulding. Long ball to his skipper. Farrell, little goose step. Got it out to Radlinski. Harris with the step. And a good ball back to Betts. Dennis Betts has left it on the ground. And Namu is going to allow to run over the dead ball.
Well, Richie Blackmore took a player out of play. The referee spotted it. Good work. So Great Britain will get a penalty. Let's have a look on the CRC. Just watch Richie Blackmore. Well, no, we won't.
Quick tap, but now it's Farrell. Keeping the ball alive, are they? Yes, it's out the back door. And now they've coughed it up. And so the scrum's going to back down, so the feed's going to go to New Zealand. So the Lions will be disappointed with that hot-on attack. They had a set of 6 inside the New Zealand red zone. They made the mistake.
Well, Great Britain, they'll be gutted by these couple of decisions. They feel that the referee's probably gone against them in the last 5 or 10 minutes, and they'll be desperate to make amends. They do want to score and stay, you know, in touch or make themselves play with a bit of credit out here tonight.
Anthony Swan hasn't had too many opportunities in open spaces since he's been on there, the youngster. ...20 metres from halfway. The New Zealand Kiwis. The last time they managed to win 3-0 in a series was '84. Jones at dummy half to Kearney. We'll have our CRC man of the match at the end of our telecast tonight. The New Zealand man of the match. Plenty of contenders out there. Matthew Ridge gets the kick in. Yeston Harris is back there. he's losing ground. Now he goes forward.
And just look at the chaser there. That was Quinton Ponga up there, the front rower chasing. The forward pack has played so well out there for the New Zealand side tonight. Another man there, Joe Wagner. He's put in some big hits out there.
Yeah, he has, and one of the highlights of the series for me is the form of the back rowers on both sides. I think the Great Britain back rowers have been outstanding, and certainly the New Zealand back row have done more than their share of work. So you know, plenty of good back row forwards in this game.
When you look at Tony Iro, who made his debut back in 1988 for the Kiwis on the wing, moved his way from the number 2 jersey through to number 11. And he's going so well. As Betts is down injured. 32 points to 12 it is. Betts plays it eventually, but in a bit of trouble there after that tackle.
I guess one spot that is open for the Kiwis is if you look at their packers, the loose forward position. Tyrone Smith has done a good job replacing Mark Horo's absence, but you know, I guess with Tyrone playing, he plays several positions for his club and really hasn't played a whole season at the loose forward role. Perhaps someone else could fill in that jersey.
Tony Iro with the kick on the first tackle. But Radlitsky got back there first and has a little bit of room to move to return the football. But if you go back to the previous set of 6, Great Britain caught on the 6th tackle.
Yeah, we've seen both the second row. Now we had Tony Iro, and then we had Dennis Betts earlier. They've both come up with the chips, and in general play, I'm sure it's not one of the outstanding parts of their game.
I'm sure they don't practice it at training. When you're winning by the margin, the Kiwis are winning by 32-12. I suppose you can have those little options in your game and try things.
So the seconds ticking away now inside the last couple of minutes, and that kick is going to find touch. About 18 metres out from the New Zealand line. Matthew Ridge, one of the contenders for the CRC Man of the Match. It's a fine series, heading to the Warriors in 97. The Kiwis got any more petrol in the tank? Can they finish with a flourish? They have the series well and truly wrapped up.
That's one thing about the Great Britain side. They haven't given up the whole series, have they? Every game they've gone out there and they've competed. I'm sure some say they haven't got their best players out on the field, but they are out there and they're having a go. And I think that's all a coach can ask is of your players, whoever the 13 out there are, if they go out and have a go. And I think Great Britain have done that for the full 80.
Tony Iro, taken by Alan Hunt. Still 15 from halfway. There was a little knock on in there by Tony Iro. So another scrum will pack down. It should be the final scrum of the series. Tony Iro with a split lip. The pain won't be as bad after you win the series. Now it's Hemmon. Last throw of the dice for the Lions on their 1996 tour of New Zealand, and they cough it up. Morley couldn't control the ball, so we will get another scrum in after all.
Well, for some strange reason, Darryl Powell's come back onto the field and he's standing out on the wing.
Well, he obviously tried to convince someone that he was only in the sin bin.
Well, he's standing inside Barry Mather and he's in the field of play.
Either that or there's nobody else to put on there.
The New Zealanders and Stephen Kearney. Where's the support? He tried to get the pass around the corner, couldn't do so. He had to take the tackle. Time almost up on the clock, even though we have had some stoppages. Anthony Swan, 10 metres inside the Lions' territory. Ridge. Little grubber kick through for Richie Blackmore to run onto. He got the foot to it, but it's into touch. Well, Ridge knew that there wasn't much on, so he knew that Blackmore was outside him. Put the little grubber kick through.
Yes, and of course there wasn't much on there, but Matthew spotted down the blind side. Gave Richard an opportunity maybe to score. Couldn't connect, but Times clicking down.
As the full-time siren sounds, it is all over here. Clean sweep, New Zealand. They've won the series 3-0. They led by 20 points to 6 at half-time. They ran in 2 tries to 1 in the second half. And so full-time, a 20-point margin. New Zealand 32, Great Britain 12. Stay with us on 2 Sports Action. We're back right after this with more from Lancaster Park. Clean sweep to the Kiwis at Lancaster Park. The Lions never stopped trying. What about these soccer skills from Chris Radlinski? Although it came to naught for him because Matthew Ridge was back there in position cleaning up yet again. The stats, 32 points to 12, New Zealand over Great Britain, and they dominated the territory and possession. And also, if you have a look at the line break, 17 for New Zealand, 8 for Great Britain, and the Lions also had to do 268 tackles compared to 236. Well, Brent, they ran out of puff in the end, but really that was a pretty good clean sweep by the Kiwis.
Well, it was a great clean sweep from the New Zealand side. They played for the full 80 minutes, set up by their forwards. I thought Matthew Ridge at the back played well. The whole back row for the Kiwi side played well, and they just look so confident, everything they do. And when you're a confident side, things just seem to happen for you. They push the passes, but sometimes they push a pass and it just comes off for them, and they get a try. So Ruben Wiki had a strong game too. So it was an all-round performance, and I'm sure Frank Endicott is just over the moon.
Okay, well, we'll have a comment from Frank hopefully before too long. What about the Warriors coach, John Money? How did you wrap it up, John?
Yeah, I thought it was a great performance. To win any test match by 20 points is, certainly aiming up on the night. The good thing to come out of for Great Britain, they certainly blooded a few new players, and the Kiwis, well, plenty of young talent there, and really looking forward next year to the series against Australia. A great lead-in, great build-up for that match.
Okay, well, at half-time it was 20 points to 6, and the Lions came out fired up, and it was young Adrian Morley, the replacement, that got them back into the match just after half-time.
Yes, and it looked as though they were going to go on with it too. They were very hyped up, the Great Britain side. Now, Richie Blackmore come in for the hit, but Morley dived under for a great try to Great Britain.
And John Money, what about this planned move from the scrum?
Yeah, once they stacked everybody over on the left, we just knew they were going back to the right. Great Britain did really well here. They got a lot of players across there, but they all overread it, went too far, and Sean Hoppy cut back well.
And that wasn't the end of it, because Captain Courageous was there as well.
Yeah, tremendous game from Matthew Ridge there. He beat 3 or 4 players and took one over with him. And I just loved his reaction at the end. It was a typical Matthew Ridge try. Had to say something. There it is.
A little bit of the old Ridge verbal. Okay, Matthew Ridge was certainly in a comfortable position there, and I guess if your team is winning by 20, you can afford to do that. A little bit of gamesmanship.
Well, you can, and he's just a competitor, and you can see that in his play, and he's not ashamed to do anything on the field, and he'll look at that tape and probably be a little bit embarrassed.
I wonder what his coach thinks, because next year, John, you will be in charge of Matthew Ridge at the Warriors, and you'll be pretty pleased with his effort.
Yeah, I think he played great as a captain. He inspires the side. He's always in the action, and very good player. A real inspirational captain.
Okay, we'll look forward to Matthew Ridge and the Warriors colours next year. Thank you also to John Money for joining the 2 Sports Action team over the last couple of test matches. Let's get a reaction now from Matthew Ridge. He's with Brendan Telfer.
Well, congratulations, Matthew Ridge. 3 out of 3 doesn't get much better than that, but I imagine this is probably the sweetest of the 3.
Yeah, pretty happy with that. Obviously, I thought we put in a pretty good performance today. We fell behind early on, and probably a little bit of lack of intensity and that sort of thing. But full credit to the lads. They picked it up, and we got home in the end.
Yeah, you're up, 14 to 16 points here at half-time. There seemed to be a period just after half-time where a little bit of complacency and a little bit of flatness crept in.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I thought, we fixed them up down there, and then we turned the ball over straight away. So that put us under some pressure, and it sort of brought the game back alive again. But we skipped away, and, Great Britain, they're a tough side. They have plenty to play for tonight, a lot of pride on the line, and I'm happy with our fellas. It was a good result.
You said to me last week in Palmerston North that this team hadn't revealed anywhere near its potential. How close did they get to it tonight?
Oh yeah, we're getting better. I mean, you know, we're still we've got a long way to go to catch up to the Australians, obviously, but you know, we've got a good management team, and Frank Endicott, he's been a revelation as our coach, and you know, it's just awesome to finally get a Test series against Great Britain and to win something in the Kiwi jersey.
Okay, Matthew Ridge, I think barring injury, is going to be around leading the Kiwis for some years to come. A fine performance tonight, one of the leading contenders for the CRC Man of the Match, and that is still to come. But unfortunately, there can only be one winning captain, and the loser is now with Brendan Telfer.
Andy Farrell, I guess there wasn't much doubt about it tonight. I mean, you might have got close in the last two and perhaps been a bit unlucky, but the result, I guess, says it all tonight.
It does, yeah. I mean, all credit to the Kiwis. They've played tremendous tonight. They've you know, played an expansive game like they said there was, and you know, there was no stopping them tonight. All credit to them.
The injury problems that you've had during the week, how much did that undermine your ability to really be competitive tonight?
It did undermine us a lot, really, but you know, we've not had a full side training all week. We've had about 3 or 4 players in key areas who's not been able to train, but you know, that's no excuse on the day. We had 13 lads out there, they had 13, we lost.
A gracious loser. No celebrations for the Lions, even though they had a few bright spots in this Test match. Stay with us. We're back after the break with our CRC Man of the Match. 2 sports action, and the look on Matthew Ridge's face says it all. Thanks for coming, he said to the Lions. 20-point victory to the Kiwis. Brent, do you think that this Kiwi side has some makings of going on to be very competitive against a side like Australia next year?
Well, I think they have. When you look at, you know, leading from Matthew Ridge, he instills arrogance and confidence in the team. They play so well together. They enjoy each other's company. They get on well off the field as well as on the field. You know, they're a confident side, and they're only going to go on in leaps and bounds. Let's hope they can stick with the same coach, stick with the same sort of players. They've got the right core of players there, and there's no reason why they can't beat Australia.
Okay, well, let's get one reaction now from Dwayne Mann, former Kiwi captain. And what did you think about that performance, Dwayne?
Well, a fantastic performance, and as it's already been noted, to win by that margin against any British side is fantastic. And, you know, a lot said about Matthew Ridge and his captaincy, but really a lot of the players can take credit right throughout the series and have done a great job under Frank Endicott's coaching.
Yeah, plenty of top performers throughout the series, some great performances tonight. Who is going to pick up our $500?
CRC Man of the Match.
Well, our CRC Man of the Match here at Lancaster Park tonight. No surprises. The Kiwi captain, Matthew Ridge. Here we are, Matthew, a cheque for $500. Yes. It appeared to us that you were playing with a few injuries, a few knocks out there in that second half. A lot of courage.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. I mean, I got a bump early on in the first half, but old Andy Farrell was giving me a fair bit of stick every time I went down, telling me to get up. So, you know, but just happy to get away with it. I mean, it's a tough game tonight.
And personally, this would be one of the most satisfying performances you've had in the Kiwi jersey?
Yeah, obviously, you know, I've had 20-odd tests now and certainly never beaten Great Britain before, so it's something that I'll remember for a long time. But, you know, the guys hung in together. It's a good bunch of guys, good young side, and, you know, hopefully it's going to carry us through for a few years to come.
Well-deserved man of the match, Matthew Ridge, and over the last 5 Test matches, it was Young, Jones, Timu Jones again, and Matthew Ridge. Okay, let's get a comment now from a very happy coach of the New Zealand team, Frank Endicott.
Well, there can't be any happier man in Canterbury tonight than a true-blooded, red-blooded Cantabrian, Frank Endicott. Frank, it must have been very satisfying getting a clean sweep here on the old home soil.
Oh, it certainly was. You know, we've been hinting this win for a while now. We've struggled in the first 2 tests and got home late, and to win by 20 points, someone said it was a record margin. You know, I mean, it was just a great night for us, especially here in the hometown.
You weren't looking for a 1 or 2 point victory tonight. You wanted a thumping.
Yeah, you could say that. I mean, we talked about it at the team meeting this morning. We just thought they were on the ropes and ready to put away for the kill. So, yeah, all credit to the blokes. They did well tonight, and they took their chances when they were on. In fact, I thought we muffed a couple that could have really extended the scoreline, but I'm happy with that 20-point win.
Yeah, that golden smile of Frank Endicott. Well, Brent, that just about brings our season to a close, and it's been a bit of a hectic one.
Well, it's been a fantastic season, not only for us fronting it, but from everybody involved. I mean, I've enjoyed it. You know, they're a great team, the league team, and let's hope we've brought a good product.
Okay, and of course,
I think we have.
Yeah, and a good way to finish as well.
Well, it's a great way to finish. It's always great to finish on a win, isn't it? So, yeah, I've enjoyed it, and well done to the Kiwis. Tremendous.
Okay, well, that's it for 1996 in the league season. It was a year of turmoil, but it finished with a real flourish. A great performance by the New Zealanders, winning their last 5 Test matches. And we leave you now with a look at some of those tries from the Test Match International Series. And on behalf of our producer, Doc Williams, our director, Andrew Hawthorne, Brent Todd, John Money, Dwayne Mann, all the 2 Sports Action team, thanks for being with us in 96, and we look forward to seeing you in the future.
Kiwis.